Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Dynamic Coder. As you can see on the screen, the topology of OSPF and today we're going to learn about what is OSPF and how OSPF works, what are the protocols of OSPF. Okay, so let's start with the first topic of autonomous system. The autonomous system is just like, for example, if there is one area, or you can say a building or a LAN network, or you're one of the office department in a single area where you can consider it as a 50 or 100 routers which is working inside a single lane. So for example, I'm considering this space as one area and this as another division of area. So if you are communicating between these both area, you can use a protocol which is called as external protocol. Okay, external gateway protocol, which is known as EGP. Okay, so whatever protocols you are using would be under EGP, which is external gateway protocol. Okay, and what the another fact is, like, for example, if you are using the whatever protocol inside your lane, like OSPF, EIGRP, RIP, whatever protocols you are working inside your lane or you're inside the area, it is considered as IGP. So first, you should be knowing the fact about autonomous system, that how autonomous system works, like how the area is divided and under what division your network is communicating with another network. So it is very simple, as you can see, like what I have considered inside my topology, that this could be my single area and this is my another area. So while if I want to communicate inside the area, so I'm using IGP. So today you can consider it IGP as OSPF, EIGRP, RIP, okay, and the EGP as BGP, Border Gateway Protocol, okay. So which is used externally, okay. So as we discussed here, okay, so this is under the autonomous system. We'll also discuss some fact about the administrative distance. That what is administrative distance? The administrative distance is just like, for example, I'm considering this as your one company and this is your another company. So whatever protocols you are using, so out of those protocol you have to consider that what is the protocol which is feasible to your LAN, or while communicating, which is a protocol which is useful to you. So for example, if you can see here that under the routing capabilities, you are knowing the fact that the RIP has the administrative distance of 120. The OSPF is having the count of 110. The EIGRP has a count of 90. Okay. The also I want to discuss something about the RIP. RIP always works on hop counts. Hop counts. Okay. So it only works on hop counts. You can see the OSPF which is working on the cost. For example, the cost of your bandwidth, that, for example, this is your end and this is another end. So if you're using the gigabit ethernet, according to the particular cost, it can select the best route out of it. That, for example, if for example you want to reach from this router where I place my cursor, okay, so if you want to reach from here to here, so there could be multiple routes to get to the destination. So by calculating the cost factor, the OSPF works. As you can see, the EIGRP works on the metric counts. Okay, which we're going to brief something about while having the video regarding the EIGRP. But now we just have to concentrate about the OSPF, that how OSPF works on which protocol, like what is the AD of it. And also I want to discuss some fact about OSPF, is that, for example, OSPF can only work, or it is feasible that you have 50 to 100 routers in a single area. So for example, if you have that much router, then there is a need of OSPF so that you can create different areas to use OSPF and communication between them. Okay, and another fact I want to tell you about OSPF is that, like, while what could I say, that while giving an interface to the OSPF network, you should have to place a subnet of same IPs into a single lane, so that it could be easy for you. For example, let's say here is my example. Okay, so here you can see on the right hand side is that I have placed 192.168 subnet on the right hand side, and I have used the 10 subnet on the left hand side. So what is the benefits of it? The benefit of it is that, for example, like if you place here a different IPs in all of your subnet. So for example, your each router have to have a big routing table and the LSA or link state database. So let's discuss first about the LSA and LSDB. Okay, the LSA is link state advertisement. Okay, and the LSDB, LSA. Okay, LSA is link state advertisement, and LSDB, which is the link state database. So for example, what happen if you start configuring OSPF. So first step, what OSPF do is that it it starts advertising about their subnet to its neighbor router. Okay, to consider it as a neighbor. So first, what OSPF do is to send the LSS to its neighboring routers. Okay, so whatever the whatever the like the way the OSPF manages to have the neighbors into its lane, or you can say into its network, the everything which will going to save in its database. For example, if this router sends the advertisements to this router, to this router, to this router, to this router, so whatever the advertisement is sent by particular router could be saved into the database. So for example, what happen if you have the different subnets into the networks, like which is not organized in a proper manner. So what it will do is that your LSDB, your database table, would be so much large and it takes so much of your disk space. Okay, so to avoid the disk space, the only factor is you have to do is that to place your subnets into the, like, what I want to say is to save all your subnets into same area. So which could be beneficial for you is that while sending the advertisement, you can just send like 192.168.0.0. Okay, so which will just directly send it to another neighbor to form the neighborship. So which could be very easy, and your advertisement, your database, your routing table, which will not consume more of the time while searching about the particular interface. So for example, if you will going to do like for saving the particular interface into your routing table, your table would be very much big. So to avoid such problem, the feasibility of using the OSPF is that to have the same subnet into a single lane. So here you can see my diagram, and the LSA is sent first of all. What happened that, like you can see on the topology, when we first start the OSPF, the link state advertisement is sent to all the routers in the subnet or in the network to form the neighborship. Once the neighborship is formed, the everything is entered to the database. Okay, the next step is that the LSA is sent to all the interfaces. Okay, and once you flood the entire information, it is saved into the routing table as well as the database. So for example, if this is the router which sends the link state advertisement to all the routers in the subnet. Okay, and it starts sending it. Once it's done, it will never going to reflood it till the time the opposition router came to know that the particular links came down. And even after the another links which is down, the router will going to ask the router will going to ask the another router telling that whether they really require the advertisement regarding the LSA or not. If the another router tell them that they already had information regarding this, then the router will not going to flood the information again. So this is how the LSA works. So what I'm trying to tell you is, for example, if once the information is flooded to all the routers, then it will never going to reflood it till if the opposition router will really want the information regarding it, that if any of the interfaces comes down and it comes up. So if they need the information regarding this, then only it will reflood the information. Another thing I want to discuss with using this is that what is SPF? The SPF is something like SPF. What is SPF is shortest path algorithm. Okay, so shortest path first algorithm. So it is a kind of algorithm. What happened to it that, for example, if these two routers, for example, I am taking for your understanding that if these two routers in the network, okay, they first initiate the LSA sending the advertisement to all the routers in the subnet. Once the neighborship formed, the next step is that after some times between the two routers, which is what agree to the uplinks and the interfaces, if one link goes down, so there could be an issue regarding the sending the advertisements. So again, what the SPF do is the SPF again initiate the advertisement to check that. So the work of SPF is that it's just a algorithm which is used to calculate the path, that what is the next path or what is the next interface which the SPF will going to use for that to form the neighborship and to send the packets. So for example, if one link fail, then SPF comes into picture for taking the decision that what could be the next interface which can take place and which will help them that the neighborship will form again with the very few convergence time. The convergence time is just the time taken by two routers to form the neighborship again. So to avoid less convergence, to avoid less chaos and confusion, or like many things comes into the network part if, for example, the convergence time is bigger. So with lesser convergence time, SPF comes into picture and it is so useful. Yeah. The another thing I want to tell you is like everything is completed from the end, that whatever which is useful like while starting the OSPF concept. So the first step which I want to tell you is, once what happened that when the router or a lane or a network engineer decided to have a, a use of a router OSPF, the protocol. So the first thing in the LAN happens with the first router which start initiating a neighbor sending the multicast packets to all over the lane, okay, to form the neighborship between all the routers and all the interfaces in the network. Okay, once the neighborship is formed, like once what happened, once the first router send the multicast packet to all the LAN, the another router just revert them back sending their IPs to form the neighborship. Okay, so first the router send the hello packets to all the lane, and again it could be reflected back by the like the router who received the sending packets would be sending again to the receiving packets. Okay, okay, so the receiving router will get the entire information and it could easily form the neighbors. So while forming the neighbors, the SPF algorithm will calculate directly from their side that which could be the best part or a best path, also considering the fact about the cost, that which is the router who consumes lesser cost could be considered as a best route. So this is how OSPF works. Like inside the initial stage, will We'll talk about more facts about OSPF in a later part. Okay. So whatever we talked about before is like the initial stage of OSPF. Now I want to tell you something about, for example, if OSPF formed, the entire thing started working. So in between the two routers, for example, if first router will have 10 LSAs, okay, in its link state database, and the router 2, for example, I am telling that if router 2 which has 6 updates inside it, so what the router 2 will do, the router 2 will send the or tells the router 1 that it really requires the 4 routing updates. So the package which is sent by router 1 to router 2, which called as LSU, which is called as link state update. So the update package between the two routers could be easily initiated, and the whatever the router 2, the interface or the neighbors which the router 2 is not known to, will be getting, and it helps them to form neighbors easily.